one happens to be 668. Okay. I would change it. Okay. It's going to flag you out in a different area. Okay. Let's go ahead and put something like that. Okay. It is going to flag you out in a different area of CCC. It is not changing the estimate tab at this point. It's simply going to flag you out, and I'll show you where later. Okay. Um, let's say that we come over here. Okay. And we got this. Okay. We're good. Not changing it price match. Not changing, because again, it's price matched out. Okay, I'm gonna say that's what it was. Okay, I'm a little bit off on my numbers. I put 113.98.
So it
Okay.
changes red just because there's a variance. It's not saying it's bad or good. It's just showing you that it's changed from, like, it's a different number from the list price when it goes red
Mm-hmm.
like that. Okay.
Yep.
So I noticed that
Yep.
when I'm checking stuff in, and I just look at the right column there, and I'm like, make sure all my 25s are good, like on normal stuff with Subaru.
Yep,
So
exactly.
cool.
Clearly mine's off, way off.
That's a
Okay,
good.
but yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, how do we know we're in balance? Most people might say, well, I looked at the invoice and I hit the last line, I'm done. The system is smart enough to make sure everything truly adds up to the total invoice. The way that we know is it is looking to balance out at zero. So that's where some people are like, well, whoa, we're off 100. You're like, it's the bumper cover,
Right.
the core charge probably. So a couple of things to that end. You might have noticed that yes, there is an add line feature. There's really only three reasons to use add line and one great big reason not to use it. So let's talk about the three good reasons. A core, perfect reason. I'm adding it because more than likely I'm going to end up returning it. Okay. So I do that. Okay. I go ahead and click on that right over there. Okay. More than likely I'm going to return it, but some people would still put that, I don't know, just in case it ends up being something we have to charge. And just like that, we're right there. Okay. So we're in balance, we're good to go. But before we get out of it, let me talk to you more about other reasons to use AddLine. The other reason would have been freight, delivery fee, fuel surcharge, whatever they call it nowadays, right? Probably all of them. And sure enough, there's your freight. Don't put it down here because that means you're eating it. We don't want that to happen. Okay. The third reason is, and this one will knock on wood, we're eating it. So if we are truly eating it, bought it, got it, missing, lost it, whatever. Basically, we're throwing it under shop loss. Okay.
Shop loss. Okay.
Those are my three good reasons why to use AdLine. What's the great big reason not to? Basically, it's a real part. I need to supplement it. I need to get it on the estimate tab. I know it's tempting to do that, but that's not the way to go about it. So this is where I want to show you. See up over here, I can do File. You go down to Save Draft,
Yep.
and Save Draft kind of puts it on hold mode, if you will. Um, come back over here, add your line, if it's
I was gonna
missing.
ask you that because, yeah, it didn't seem like there
Hmm.
was a way to. You can't just save your changes because then you can't make a change when you come back to it. I noticed, so I had to void it and start over. But I was trying to do that
Ah,
where I could, like, save something, like stop in the middle of something, and be like, damn, I gotta add it to the estimate because it's not on there. But it also
mhm.
looks like you can mess with those tabs too if you have two screens. Like I could drag my draft up to my other laptop or my invoice, and then I could mess with the estimate, but it doesn't refresh or update unless you close it. And so that's obviously the way to do that, right?
Yep,
To keep it in edit mode. Okay,
yep. Keep it
cool.
in edit mode. Exactly. Draft mode right here. That'll be your friend.
Okay,
And to be honest, draft mode might be your friend if, I'm in the middle of something and all of a sudden I get the phone
I get
call, I get a
sidetracked.
delivery.
Yep,
Yeah, you get
yep.
sidetracked.
Which is every day,
Sure,
right?
you could, there you go. You could minimize it. I get it, but putting it on draft mode might be a little bit of a safer, way to go.
Yep.
Okay. In our case, we were pretty good to go. But again, let's say I was missing that line. Great. The line's there. The line should be here. I keep on going and I should be able to even myself out and match up. Okay. We were talking, oh, that's right. You're at home. Okay. Normally
Yep.
it should be talking to our scanner. We throw it in there. And I want to stop for a quick minute, although you obviously have experienced the electronic invoicing. But in short, um, all this would have been done for us if we had ordered through the checkout cart.
Yeah,
They do all of
I
this,
know.
all of this.
That's
Yeah.
really nice. I wish the price matching thing wasn't so, like, I gotta weigh out the benefits, I guess, because it alleviates me from spending a few hours dealing with insurance companies because they're not gonna pay for OEM parts, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I wish the collision thing link thing was more integrated, I guess, but
Yeah. Well, you know, first off, I think Collision Link might be working on something because back in the day, and it might even be still to this day, Parts Trader, if we price matched over there, they actually had a link. Like we had a link where they would send the info back, and it actually would show up over here on the estimate
Yeah.
tab
Okay.
as an orange bar. You click on it, and it would have updated all the parts from aftermarket to OE without having to delete the line and add it back
Yeah,
in.
that's nice.
You know, it was pretty nice. I don't know enough to know if it's still out there, but I do want to give you some more hope, and that is to say we are always improving.
Yep.
So, our parts and our parts checkout, it has evolved. Things are getting better. So I would say just keep doing what you're doing, and one day you might be like, you know what? I'm comparing it against Collision Link. It's actually evening up now. I'm getting my results, so
Yep. Yep.
maybe. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and save and close out of this one. We'll say we are done. Normally I would have had my attachment, and just like that, I'm out of there. Okay. So a few things. Any questions before I keep talking or?
No, I'm good.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, cool deal. Let's go ahead and talk about a few things. So as far as our count, it is keeping track of our count here. By document type, everything we're doing is definitely in here. So it's a keeping track of all of it. By RO lines, okay, my favorite way, I can see everything.
Oh, that's
I can
cool.
see the part type. I can see the cost. Pretty easy to tell here or not here, right?
Yeah.
Just by even looking at the cost or looking at your count. Once again, expected delivery. I am, yes, gung ho and kind of crazy about that. We'll get more into that in a moment. Um, and as far as back ordered, yeah, let's say that something is on like on a serious back order. Do this, let's throw it out like 2 weeks, let's say. So we'll go to like, how about right there? Okay. Put whatever it is. I mean, there's not much to put in unless it's national back order, I suppose, or no ETA. So, and I know everyone's going, where am I going to see that? We'll show you in a moment back over on parts dashboard. Any line that you're highlighted on further below is basically the purchase order and the invoice that it was on. So nice for the sake of tracking. Let's come over here, okay, to our attachments tab. And I know we didn't attach anything, but if I did, it would have been here with a little invoice symbol. And yes, the symbol is blocking it from being uploaded to the insurance. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
As
if
far as
I
our
can't remember if
orange bar,
George, if I was talking to just you about that, or if George knew about that, where it could, it would block the invoice from the insurance company so they don't see what you're paying for stuff, right?
exactly, yep.
Okay.
So normally with our stuff, they do want to see our invoices more often than not. And so we leave them right in the attachments. So normally
Mm-hmm.
if I do a supplement, I do a
Mm-hmm.
PDF for the actual estimate and then I send the attachments and it'll have my scans and all that,
Yep.
parts invoices, everything.
Yeah, it's definitely a way to go, and if that's really going to be the case more often than not, or for particular insurance companies, don't
Yeah.
attach it to the invoice, just come straight over here and do it.
Attach it manually. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you want them to
Let's
see it in
talk
that
about,
case, so you want to make sure they're able to see it, right? That's.
correct,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. Sorry.
Let's talk about that estimate tab. It is not changing. So whatever we did back over there, I know we increased something by just a little bit. It's definitely not popping up over here. It is over here though. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So so over here is where you can say, okay, I had a part price increase on an invoice for that tow cap. It went from that to that. And then I added the core charge. Apply will change the estimate tab. And if it was truly locked, it'll create a supplement, and now it's a supplement.
Okay.
Discard makes it go away entirely. Okay. And so some people, when it's an assignment, or they're like, you know what, all day long I'm gonna apply probably because I'll bill at the end. Um, when it's not an assignment, and I know you're not mostly a DRP, but or it's a progressive or something like that, or a closed bid with a customer. Sometimes you sit there and go, well, shoot, this is like $1. I mean, you know, am I really going to get it? You never know. I don't know how many other supplement things you got going on. Okay. So we'll cancel this out or discard it a bit later.
Now the
All
core
right, we're
charges,
gonna.
are you just leaving them in there? You're not adding them to the estimate, but you're leaving them in there. So like when you go to close it one day, you're like, man, I never got that core. I need to chase after that, or. Um,
Uh, Yes and no. So it kind of depends. Let's say this was an assignment and I would have applied that. I probably would have discarded that because
Okay.
I'm probably going to get it.
Okay.
I do. Some people keep it out there as a flag to, yeah, go
To remind
retrieve,
you. Okay.
know.
But it's gonna
Yeah,
be in
as
the
a
back.
reminder.
It's you have like a place in the background to like put your core credits in, right? Like when you get them, when you receive them, kind of like an invoice, like a return part, kind of against the RO.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So we'll cancel out of there. By the way, if we had canceled, or discarded some of those changes back over here, it is absolutely keeping track. Okay, now there isn't a report yet that'll say, hey, how many of those did I discard? For how much money did I might have potentially lost out on? But it is indeed at least keeping track of it.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll save and close out of here, and let's go ahead. Okay, and keep on going. And I forgot which RO that was, just so I know. 2011. Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about those part changes. So it's flagging you out, right, with the orange bar. It's flagging out over here as well. All right, and let's come down over here to the parts dashboard. All right, so parts dashboard, all the high level areas we don't want to fall off our radar. Okay, my first bucket, not ordered, 17 ROs, not 100% ordered, and they're down here. Um, Luckily you use your priority flags. Luckily you know the names really well, so it won't be such a big deal. But heads up again, this it could be sublet, it could be materials, it could be a tow bill, so take it with a grain of salt
Yeah, I can do it. You
sometimes.
got the key?
I put the keys. I put the cars in.
Did
When
you
you look
really?
over here
Yep.
on the RO quantity,
The
okay,
big
it is
truck.
kind of giving me an overall
I
feel.
probably like
How many items, how many
in the
received,
morning. We were the first two
how
up in
many
the
still
front.
need to be
We
ordered.
put the neat song on my desk.
Yeah.
But this one,
So
pictures are in.
okay,
So,
yeah, that one. That one
I'll
there, I
see.
ordered the original parts before I started using management. So like that original,
Mm-hmm.
like all the ones that are left over, are on an estimate
Mm-hmm.
that I had in Synergy that I can update. But yeah, this one, I've kind of the stuff that I ordered as a supplement, I ordered through
Right.
CCC, and then I had to order another part that wasn't on the estimate. So like I think I do have two purchase orders for this, but the original that I ordered, um, is not accounted for because it was before I was using this. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Why it still says there's parts needed.
Right.
That
Now,
makes sense.
when I look at it though, because remember, all the blue is done, and
Yep.
actually most of the real stuff was done. This is
Oh.
clearly materials,
Oh.
sublet
So
stuff,
that's what's left over
it's
showing as parts. It's like because it's categorized wrong, probably. Right?
so yes and no, yes and
Okay.
no. So here's the deal. That line item mapping, I mentioned it only once, but it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like where we could tell it in the background.
Yep.
There's another part of that. Another thing is you could tell it, yeah, that should go to paint materials, not OEM.
Yep.
And to boot, Mike, you could tell the system, I don't even want to see it in the
Perfect.
parts tab and have it muddle my
And
numbers. So
that's what
we
I was going to
will
ask you
show
about
you how
because
that
there's a lot of
works.
stuff that I'm like, man, this is not. This
Hmm.
is going to be a lot of wasted time, and it's just going to be confusion. So that's cool that you can do that. Okay.
Yep. We'll show you how to do that. And as far as that pre and post scan, some people are like, they never create a purchase order. They're like, it's sublet. Others do, so that at least they know, yeah, I put in the phone call or it's done.
Well,
So I leave it to you.
okay, I would say for a guy like me who does, I do all my own pre and post. Like I have all the software for each manufacturer. I have like aftermarket scanners. How do you like cost it to yourself, or is it just kind of like you couldn't put a cost on it because you'd have to break down how many times you used it versus how much the updates are each year and how much the hardware is. So you just would just kind of
Yep.
bill it out maybe as a
You,
labor time instead of a like because I was
Yeah,
starting to
you,
I
think of it.
do. We do in-house labor, so when you sign labor,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do it like repair. I do pre and post
the point
as a
five, point
labor
five.
repair, as a
Okay.
repair, not a dollar amount, and then I
Yep.
do in-house labor,
Okay.
and then yeah, that's it.
Because like
Okay.
I've been
That,
finding some companies want you to bill it out as 75, and some want it as a half hour. And when I get half hour
Right.
labor, I do it at like a full mechanical rate, so I can still get $80 an hour, like $80 point five, $80 point five. So it still makes this the same total.
hmm
Okay.
Let me go ahead and put that down, the pre and post to labor. I'll show you tomorrow how to do that, but that's definitely an option,
Okay.
converting those dollars into labor and then just assigning it to our in-house labor or in-house tech or whatever. Some people, um, and I'm not sure we want to go that route. We could line item map it so it never pops up, period. But we know it does cost us something. It's kind of a I would have to show you the different options so we
Okay.
can make a decision.
Make it the best
Okay.
decision. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to like pull. I guess my only thing for that specific thing is being able to pull a report at the end of the year and figure out like, yeah, how much money did we pull on pre and post scans? Obviously, there's some labor involved, but what was this dollar amount? Because like we have X amount of subscriptions and tooling, and it would help me get a better idea of like, man, this stuff really is paying for the tooling and covering our ass at the same time.
Right, right.
So,
Okay. We'll talk a little bit more
yep,
maybe
yep,
on another day when
yep.
we're
I
doing
won't.
reporting and stuff like
Yep,
that.
yep.
Um, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more, but that's what this bucket is all about, basically what isn't ordered. And yeah, you could do the order right here or the checkout. Let's talk about our not received. So 17 ROs, not 100% received.
Okay.
No surprise, right? We're always in a state of flux. Again, I can see the count. Can I do an invoice from here? Absolutely. Okay. And even if it was an electronic invoice, it's pretty smart about picking up on the fact that possibly there are electronic invoices for this, so it'll bring up a different window. I do want to talk about something else though. Again, and Annette and her expected delivery dates, but I feel it's big. Like, is our stuff showing up on time? Where is it? Is it here? See this over here, how it says due today, due tomorrow, due Friday?
Yeah.
If you click right there, now it goes into detail. So that's kind of a downside about it too. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, technically this stuff should have been showing up today. This is only as good as us being up to speed on our invoices, of course,
Yep.
so we know what's left over. But it is kind of nice because you're like, okay, what's up for tomorrow? What's up for Friday? And if anything, it comes in handy for this.
Overdue.
Okay. If I really should have gotten this, and again, only as good as us being up to speed on our invoices, but I would sort it that way. Clearly, it seems like most of it's Van Bortle,
Yeah.
but also some Peak.
Thank you.
And you get on the phone, and I mean, if I'm going to
Thank
call
you.
Van Bortle, mostly about the same RO from the looks of it, but oh no, there's one different one. And I
Yep.
guess that's my point. If you're going to call about one, call about all of them, right?
Right. Just go right through them. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually
So,
what
yeah,
I do.
would have
I'll
done it.
order 3 different ROs at the same time when I got them on the phone. If it's something I have to call about, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you do have your vendor chat, so I suppose you could have used your vendor
Yeah,
chat
and
to
some of
shoot a
these.
message over.
Yep, and in some of these dealerships, they do a better job of using vendor chat, and some of them they don't. So it's all you kind of know which ones do and don't. I feel like
There
use
you
it
go.
use it to their full potential.
Yep, exactly. Let's talk about draft invoices. 2 things showing up in here. Stuff that we put on draft mode on purpose, like the one we were working on earlier, but also all your electronic invoices. You never want to complete. You do want to edit to take a quick look, or click there. Basically, look it over, make sure life is good. Sometimes they added a fake line, even though there is really a line for it, like it couldn't quite find the match, if you will. So in cases like that, and I saw that you already figured it out, you uncheck it from here, you check mark it up over here, just kind of keep track of the cost. So what, 1251.68. So you would have done this, and just change it, over. And I still think the electronic thing is pretty worth it if those are few and far in between.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that. We'll say no. Part changes, again, it's keeping track of everything here. If you actually click on this, don't worry, it's not exactly doing it on the spot for you. What it is doing is opening up the RO,
So you can
opening
do
up
it.
the window.
Cool.
Yep, exactly. We're going to choose to discard everything here. Away it goes, away the yellow bar goes. Estimate tab didn't change 1 iota, it's the same. And as I was saying earlier, back over here, okay, you can actually tell, let me do a quick save here. See part, there we go. Part price change not applied. Okay, for an impact of about $1. So if you get an estimator who's going to help you out, Mike, this is kind of handy to be able to tell, if somebody's maybe discarding stuff and you're like, whoa, 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 you're going a little too
Right.
crazy with that, let's take a look at this. Okay. Let's go ahead and hop out of here. Actually, let's stay over here. And I want to talk a little bit about partial credit. So partial credit is basically our feature for labor credits or cleanup credits, basically. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone. So let's say that it is on that bumper cover. Okay, maybe not the best example, but rather than return it, so used part has some dents and dings. Rather than return it, we're going to go ahead and clean it up. In your case, I don't think it'll be a big deal knowing that you go OE most of the time. But let's say we get $100, credit for it. Great, there's the $100. I can assign my technician right off the bat. Okay, and so let's say I pick that person right there.
Yep.
All right, you do want to change it to part cleanup so that it flags out in a different area, basically, and then how much we want to give them. So, if let's say you normally give like divide by 50 or something, there's 2 hours right there.
And this could be
Okay.
for like a damage, like something, a door comes in damaged, and the dealership's going to give you like $100 or something. You could convert that into labor hours if you want, or like and give it to the tech that's going to fix it too as a partial credit, or no? Because it looks like it's a labor assignment, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you could. It was meant mostly for the damage stuff. Maybe I didn't
Okay.
hear you right on that one. There is something called sales adjustment. That I'm going to show you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, this was kind of like if a door, if I guess the same thing as a bumper. If it comes in scratched and we're gonna fix it and keep it, that's what you'd be
Mhm.
calling a part cleanup or like a
Yep.
repair or something. Okay, cool.
Yep. They say, yeah, I would do this then. And we do that and save and close. Okay, you could print it out, but again, we're keeping track in a separate area. And as far as what it's doing on this end over here, um, it may not look like it's changing much, because you're like, okay, I didn't see that go down by the $100, that I
Right.
thought it was going to go down. However, back over here is where it's really keeping track more of the money.
Okay.
So, for OEM, you can see that I think it was no, it was aftermarket. Well, my cost has definitely gone down by
Your
the
GP
100.
went up. Yep.
Yeah, so my GP went up as a result, and then labor, assuming they were paid by the flag hour, would have gone down. So my labor GP might be a tad low, but it sort of evens itself out there.
Yep.
Okay, so that's that right there. And let's talk a little bit about returns. Okay, so if I want to return something, okay, basically, we got new parts return right here. Okay, and basically what do we return? Let's say that we did get that core, back from the technician. There's core charge. Click here to print view. All right, normally you'd print out 2 copies, one for the vendor to sign, right? One for him to take back. There's
Yep.
the invoice number. All right, we do a save and close, and just like that, it is now marked as returned. Okay.
Cool.
Now let's get back over to our dashboard though, just to show you a little bit more. So back over here on back ordered, okay, keeping track of all our back orders. Heads up, yes, we could close the RO even and still keep an eye, to know that something is still not back ordered out there. Once you receive it, it goes off back order, but you can take it off manually. As far as our credits, we've got 2 of them sitting out there. This is good, but this is better. Okay, so reports is really your best way to go on that one, which we'll create one a little bit later on report day. Okay, but as far as let's say that like this over here, that's our core, right? And let's say that the core got picked up like in record time. Great, now I can acknowledge that it actually got picked up, and therefore I can start tracking and following up on my credit. Okay, once you click on acknowledge, right, it actually, you'll put the credit info in there and away it'll drop off the list.
Cool. So you can go to your pending credits. This is under the parts tab. Okay.
Mhm.
Pending credits.
Right. Any questions about this part of it right here?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's swing on over and let's talk a little bit about our production schedule. So as far as the parts column goes, this is basically the percentage of parts received so far on a job, not ordered, but received. Green check mark, 100% of it has been received already. So some people look at like this right here. Okay, so you're like, okay, 83%. Clearly, most of this stuff is in. Okay, but some people also say to themselves, well, what's not here? And some people are like, no problem, Annette. I'm going to head over to the RO. I'm going to go to the parts tab. I'm going to go to detail, and check it out. And that's definitely a possibility. Your shortcut is to go to right click it, go to new, go down to invoice, and in a sense, you're kind of faking it out. So first off, can I do an invoice this way? Yes, definitely. Okay, but also what I really wanted to show you was the shortcut.
Yep.
Whenever it's got a padlock and it's gray all the way through, gray received, white not received.
Perfect.
Okay.
So you can at least come
And
here
to be
quick and be
honest,
like, all right, we got all the parts for this. That's just the has waste shouldn't be like that shouldn't be counted, right?
exactly. And
Yep.
you know what? We're going to show you how to get rid of that. But since we're here, we're like, well, let's just get this one out of the way, right? So in-house stock. Okay. RO number is basically your invoice. Put a 0. Check mark it. Again, we're going to show you how to point. Like as you catch this stuff, jot it on the list so that at the end of the week or at the end of the day, we can start adding it to line item mapping. We're going to do that. Okay. There's really, oh, should have, yeah, clicked on hazardous waste. All right, and then no cost, no real need for an invoice, save and close. Gonna do a quick refresh and we should be seeing that change to our green check mark. Okay.
Yep.
So I think line item mapping will be the way to go to kind of clean up a bunch of this stuff for you, okay?
Yep, that'd be cool.
All right. As far as notes go for parts, so I love what you guys are doing. That's what I recommend too. Something's not here yet, but we're pre-ordering parts. That kind of gives you like a good idea,
Yep.
of what the intention is. So yeah, awesome job. Some people put part notes inside here, knowing it prints out on the production report. So just another option, basically.
Oh, I remember that actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Notes tab on the production sheet.
Yeah. That is about it. Any questions on parts? Anything I could help you out with?
No, I'm good.
No, good.
Okay.
Just like you said, the mapping thing is my biggest thing. Like when I'm going to close out an RO, I want to make sure I'm just costing things that aren't really parts. I want to make sure I'm costing them correctly, but that's probably like you said with
Oh,
the mapping.
exactly. We'll do that another day when we have a little bit more time. And once I show you one or two, you're like, okay, I got it.
This
And
is
then
easy to do.
I'll
Okay.
even, yeah, and I'm gonna create you what's called like the other report. That way you can really hone in on it. And my hope is that that other report starts shrinking. It's because after a while you're like, okay, we're getting stuff, mapped the way it should
Yeah,
be.
perfect.
Okay. All
Cool.
right. We'll tell you what, I will let you guys go then. Thank you again for your time.
Yep.
And we'll talk tomorrow. Okay.
All right.
All right,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much, Annette.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
See ya.